All right, we would like to welcome you to the lunchtime broadcast where we highlight the news making waves ranging from current affairs to community stories, sports and economic news. Here are some of the headlines. NAMRA hosts World Customs Organization's 39th Governing Council meeting. Electricity Control Board and NORAD host consultative meeting. And London bill, Namibia disputes $14 million Namibian congestion charge. I am Ashwyn Mberi. This is NMH at 1. Follow all our programs on oneup2.com or DSTV 285 and GoTV 25 in Namibia. Let's head to the midday news update. The Electricity Control Board and the Northern Electricity Distributor today held a stakeholders consultative meeting on the proposed tariffs for 2024-25 financial year at the Rundu Trade Fair Center. The Acting Chief Executive Officer, Toifo Shovaleka, had this to say.
In fact, it's a very interesting in the history of NORAD that we can come together in this fashion so that we gain understanding of the tariffs, the methodology which is applied, and also just how does it come about that we present for a review. But it's also a testimony that the industry in which we operate, our industry, is regulated. And that's why we have a city present here today. It's not just a matter of waking up one day and NORAD decides that because of the challenges we are facing, we'd like to increase our tariffs. No. There is a formula, there is a process which will be, I think, which will be presented to us all today.
Stay with us as we head into visual news shortly.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master.
Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
NAMRA hosted the World Customs Organization's 39th Governing Council meeting in Swakopmund today. Minister of Finance Ipumbu Shimi applauded NAMRA and custom officials on safekeeping between borders.
We will want to establish similar arrangement with our neighbors so that trade can flow very easily. I'm also happy that you are talking about partnership, cooperation, because if we do that, we can also help to combat illicit goods and transnational crimes. Because you as customs administrators, you are actually at the center of these kind of crimes. And if you work together, you will be able to help us to combat these illegal activities. So please continue to work together. We, as policymakers, value the work that you do. You must count on our support, because if there is no revenue that is collected by the Revenue Authority, there won't be any development. If there is no cooperation, if customs do not connect, we will not be able to realize the fruits of our free trade areas. We will not be able to trade globally, and therefore development will be stifled.
Namibian Sun leads us into newspaper review shortly.
Hello and welcome to today's Sports Rep Show.
I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraifa. In replay, Namibia, who had won the toss for the first time on this tour.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news, both on the WTA for women's and
In Namibian Sun, the Namibian High Commission in London is relying on a 63-year-old diplomatic convention to justify not paying a $14.2 million Namibian dollar congestion charge in the United Kingdom, the paper reports. This comes after Transport for London, which oversees that city's transport network, included Namibia's High Commission on a list of 161 London-based embassies, consulates and high commissions that collectively owe it in excess of 28 billion Namibian dollars in unpaid fees and fines accrued by diplomats between the launch of the congestion charge in 2003 and the end of last year. Now, the Kavango West Regional Council submitted a proposal to the 5th Boundaries Delimitation and Demarcation Commission to create additional constituencies and adjust the boundaries within the region. The proposed move is aimed at bringing services closer to the people to accelerate development in the region. The proposal includes dividing existing constituencies into smaller ones. Planning Director Nambara Egidias said while determining new boundaries and the creation of new constituencies, the council took into consideration the population size or vastness of existing constituencies. Now, the number of eligible voters, the availability of infrastructure, as well as their socio-economic characteristics came into play. Now, Republican reports that Germany's need for alternative energy sources must not be met at the expense of Namibia's biodiversity. Namibia's need for sustainable development, job creation, and poverty alleviation can also be better met once a national study on the costs and benefits of different energy generation options for the country is completed. According to a report by the Namibian Chamber of the Environment, when green hydrogen turns red, threatening a global biodiversity hotspot, a full strategic environmental impact assessment needs to be carried out that assesses the impact on the ground and marine life of current and future hydrogen projects in Namibia before any other evaluations that are directed at specific aspects of the Hyphen project. On page 3, former lawmaker Geoffrey Mwelima's bid to be released from the Windhoek Central Prison on medical grounds were dashed in the Supreme Court yesterday after the Apex Court dismissed his application. Mwelima was sentenced to 18 years in prison in 2015 after being found guilty of murder and treason on the basis of his involvement in the secession of the then Caprivi Strip from Namibia. He approached the country's Apex Court in a bid to overturn a High Court judgment in which his application to be released had failed. In Allgemeine Zeitung, the Alte Feste, a historical landmark and the oldest building in the capital, has been in a state of disrepair for a long time. Cracks appear in the facade, there is rubbish on the veranda, and the interior is largely empty and neglected. But it won't stay that way forever. Just recently, the U.S. Embassy subsidized an ambitious project to renovate and convert the old fortress with $250,000 US, around 4.4 million Namibian dollars. Matthias Ngwangwanyama, managing director of NWR, made the announcement in Windhoek that the company delivered strong financial results in 2023 despite a very competitive climate. Revenue increased 32% from 294 million in 2022 to 387 million Namibian dollars. Profit rose 231% from a deficit of 35 million Namibian dollars in 2022 to a record profit of 46 million Namibian dollars in 2023, he explained. We continue with the Namibian newspaper after the break.
Are you tired of just hanging around at home while waiting for something to do? Check out eticket.diary.my.na for what's hot on the social scene across the country. Or if you're arranging an event you'd like us to feature, contact Jareen at we.com.na. We can sell your tickets too.
Now let's get into the Namibians' story. The Commerce has been established as a violence hotspot in Namibia, and a dark cloud hangs over the hydrogen project. I believe that there was a little bit of emphasis on that from Allgemeine Zeitung as well. Now let's move over to the New Era front page. National Unity Democratic Organization Secretary General Joseph Kaundenge yesterday equated the party to a ship on the verge of sinking if it does not rid itself of a cancer tearing it asunder. The cancer he was figuratively referring to is the Ovaherero Traditional Authority and its two factions. Kaundenge said his decision to pull out of the Nudo presidential race was due to his affiliation with the OTA faction, which appears not to be in the right books of the powers that be. Speaking at a press conference yesterday, the youthful politician said he used everything in his toolkit to rescue the party, but gave up. The late Ronald Rademacher has been lauded for her immense contribution to the media industry, chiefly for forming part of the team that revised the current code of ethics, which paved the way for Namibia's self-regulated press. Rademacher died on Monday evening following a battle with cancer. Now, the veteran scribe started her journey in the late 90s, working for publications in South Africa before ending up at the Republikein, an Afrikaans daily, where she went on to become the news editor. Rademacher served as Secretary General of the Editors Forum of Namibia between 2017 and 2022 after the disease forced her to retire prematurely at the Afrikaans daily, the Southern African Editors Forum recalls. Now let's move over to Market Watch, where Finance Minister Ipumbu Shimi says the Treasury is not adequately structured to properly carry out its mandate as an economic institution. Shimi made the comments while giving an update on his ministry's activities at the Government Information Center earlier this week. The ministry's archaic structure meant that it was not geared for current times, Shimi said. RFG Holdings reported a 20.4% rise in half-year earnings yesterday as the food producer hiked prices to recover higher input costs. We'll delve into this in economic news after the break.
Welcome to Namibia, where adventure meets tranquility. With Enjoy, you have access to a wide range of accommodations to suit every traveler's taste and budget. Experience the finest dining and hospitality Namibia has to offer. Booking your dream accommodation is just a few clicks away with Enjoy. Join thousands of happy travelers who have trusted Enjoy for their Namibian getaway. Your gateway to unforgettable Namibian adventures. Visit us today at enjoy.my.na.
RFG Holdings reported a 20.4% rise in half-year earnings yesterday as the food producer hiked prices to recover higher input costs. Consumer goods producers globally have raised prices to cope with surging costs for almost all raw materials, energy and packaging after Russia's invasion of Ukraine compounded pandemic-related supply chain logjams. The manufacturer, which owns the Rhodes brand of canned fruits and juices, said diluted earnings per share, one of the main profit measures in South Africa, rose to 99.8 cents in the local currency in the 6 months that ended March 31, up from 82.9 cents a year ago. Group operating profit rose by 15.2% to 399 million Namibian dollars as the operating profit margin improved by 100 basis points to 10.2%, exceeding the group's medium-term target. It said RFG's revenue increased by 3.2% to 3.9 billion Namibian dollars, with sales volumes declining in the constrained consumer spending environment. Revenue growth was mainly driven by price inflation of 6.9%, the food producer said. Regional revenue, covering South Africa and the rest of Africa, rose by 5.8%, boosted by good growth in fruit juice, meat products and dry foods. All right, let's head over to the economic indicators and see what they have for us. The The Namibian dollar trades at 18.40 next to the US dollar, with 19.94 Namibian dollars getting you €1. 23.35 Namibian dollars means you can get a British pound, and for one Chinese yuan, that's 2.54 Namibian dollars. First Rand Namibia stock not particularly doing well, minus 0.50%, whilst Letsego Holdings is up plus 2.50%. Gold is in the red as well as platinum, copper and Brent crude oil managing some upticks. However, gold is trading at 2,364.58 per ounce. Overall index closed down minus 0.05%, whilst the local index is in the green plus 0.12%. At least 7 university students have died after apparently inhaling fumes from a generator in Nigeria. Stay with us as we head into news from Africa. In news from Africa, at least 7 university students have died after apparently inhaling fumes from a generator in a music studio in Nigeria's Old-Rich Bayelsa State. The young men are said to have worked late into Monday night and fell asleep in the locked studio with the generator still running. They are suspected to have suffocated from carbon monoxide emissions, but police say investigations are ongoing. Many businesses and households in Nigeria rely on diesel or petrol-powered generators because of inadequate power supply. 6 bodies were recovered on Tuesday morning, while one of them, who was found unconscious, was rushed to a nearby hospital but later died, local media reported. Residents of the area raised the alarm when they peeped through the window of the studio and saw the bodies sprawled on the floor. Police arrived and cordoned off the area after moving out the bodies in the Amarata area of Yenagoa, the Bayelsa state capital. Investigations are being carried out, but based on what we have seen, carbon monoxide poisoning due to generator fumes is a possible cause, police spokesperson Musa Mohammed told the BBC. The victims were undergraduates from the state-owned Niger Delta University in Amasoma who were involved in the music recording business to support their education. An 800-megawatt solar farm that will be developed in Merafong on the West Rand will mitigate the burden of load shedding in the province, Mzikaya Fani Kumalo Gauteng MEC for Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs says. Now, the provincial government has signed an agreement with 2 of the 6 independent power producers responsible for the development of the solar farm. This milestone is in the process of contributing more energy into the grid to alleviate the energy availability challenges in the province. Komalo said at the signing of the event yesterday. As of last year, South Africa had more than 2,700 megawatts of installed photovoltaic solar power on its grid, with the installed capacity expected to reach 8,400 megawatts by 2030. Komalo said the project was a public-private partnership which would be managed and developed by a non-profit company, Bokamoso Barona. The founding partners of the company are the Far West Rand Dolomitic Water Association, Sibanye Stillwater West Rand District Municipality, and the Gauteng Infrastructure Financial Agency, according to Kumalo. He said the project would be developed on 1,600 hectares of land that has been donated by Sibanye Stillwater. Stay with us as we swing over to international news.
eTicket, your online ticket solution for events and event marketing, bringing you ease of mind and making sure that your event gets out there. events@nmh.com.na.
A British lawmaker received a standing ovation in Parliament on Wednesday as he made his first appearance since having his hands and feet amputated due to sepsis. MPs cheered as Craig McKinlay, who has called himself the Bionic MP, took his seat in the House of Commons shortly before Prime Minister Rishi Sunak's weekly question and answer session. The 57-year-old Conservative MP was rushed to hospital in September last year and spent 16 days in an induced coma before undergoing a quadruple amputation in December. Now, he has since been fitted with prosthetic hands and legs. Sunak paid tribute to McKinlay's incredible resilience, while main opposition Labour leader Keir Starmer said he had shown courage and determination. McKinlay acknowledged the cheers and applause before thanking his wife, daughter and family for their support, as well as medical staff who all watched his return from the public gallery. Sepsis is a life-threatening reaction to an infection that occurs when the immune system overreacts and damages the body's tissues and organs. The UK Sepsis Trust says 245,000 people in Britain are affected every year and at least 48,000 die, more than breast, bowel and prostate cancer combined. McKinlay recounted in an interview broadcast on Tuesday that his whole body went a very strange blue within half an hour of arriving at hospital, having gone into septic shock. His wife, Kati, was told that her husband's chances of emerging from the coma alive were just 5%. On waking, McKinlay discovered that his limbs had turned completely black and described them as being like plastic. McKinlay recalled that he was not surprised when doctors told him they would have to be amputated, and he was surprisingly stoic. At least 9 people have been killed, including a child, and about 50 have been injured after part of a stage collapsed at an election rally in Mexico's northern Nuevo Leon state, the local governor has said. The incident occurred as center-left presidential candidate Jorge Alvarez Maynez was delivering a speech in the city of San Pedro Garcia near Monterrey. Maynez was uninjured in the collapse and was seen speaking to supporters following the incident. Several members of his team had been hurt, he said. The collapse was caused by a sudden gust of wind, Maynez said in a post on X. Footage has emerged apparently showing the moment the lighting structure collapsed as a number of people were on the stage. A video posted on social media showed Maynez waving to his supporters and then running to the back of the stage for safety as he realized part of the structure was toppling over. People can also be heard screaming and running from the stage. When the others noticed, they ran in different directions. Some jumped to the sides and I jumped back, Maynez added. The sudden gust of wind came without forewarning, Maynez said, describing it as an atypical weather event. The victims were 8 adults and 1 child, State Governor Samuel Garcia said. Garcia urged local residents to stay indoors because of thunderstorms and strong winds in the area. Stay with us as we talk local sports shortly.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master.
Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
Namibian secondary schools rugby Standard Bank Under-19 Premier League continues with only one scheduled match on the second weekend. The highly anticipated clash between King Price Kuro Windhoek Gymnasium and Compact Tume Gymnasium at the Lions Den will be broadcast live by the NTV production team. The joint defending champions, the Lions, are aiming to secure their second consecutive victory following their impressive 34-7 win over PSG Walvis Bay, a private school in the season opener, with a points difference which already puts them in first position on the log. Now, their first unofficial warm-up and match in St. Kitts has been a good and valuable exercise for the Richelieu Eagles in their acclimatization and build-up to the upcoming ICC T20 World Cup in the West Indies. Namibia head coach Pierre de Bruyne said the Eagles beat Papua New Guinea by 19 runs at the 8,000-seat Warner Park Stadium in St. Kitts on Tuesday night. Batting first after winning the toss, Namibia amassed a solid total of 187 for 7 before restricting the attack-minded PNG to 168 for 5. In the build-up to the test match against Portugal in Windhoek on the 13th of July, there has been good news and bad news coming from the USA's Major League Rugby for Namibia head coach Alistair Coetzee. Namibia fly-half Clive Lopesau was on form for his new club team Anthem Rugby Carolina, known as Anthem RC, in last Saturday's 29-33 loss to RFC Los Angeles. The 27-year-old scored 14 points, including a second-half intercept try from near his own goal line, as his struggling team lost their narrowest margin yet at their home stadium in Charlotte. Now, North Carolina, during week 12 of the Major League Rugby season, had the game. Let's head over to international sports as we start off with the recently concluded Europa Cup.
Welcome to Namibia, where adventure meets tranquility. With Enjoy, you have access to a wide range of accommodations to suit every traveler's taste and budget. Experience the finest dining and hospitality Namibia has to offer. Booking your dream accommodation is just a few clicks away with Enjoy. Join thousands of happy travelers who have trusted Enjoy for their Namibian getaway. Your gateway to unforgettable Namibian adventures. Visit us today at enjoy.my.na.
In international football, Atalanta manager Gianpiero Gasperini is proud of bringing the Europa League trophy to Italy after 25 cursed years, the coach said after his side's emphatic 3-0 win over Bayer Leverkusen in the final. Ademola Lookman's stunning hat-trick helped Atalanta secure a second major trophy in their 117-year history in the final in Dublin last night. Newcastle manager Eddie Howe has blasted Chelsea's ruthless sacking of Mauricio Pochettino as harsh and a sad moment for the English Premier League. The Argentine was axed this week after just a year in charge, despite steering Chelsea to a 6th place finish and Europe next season, 3 points clear of Newcastle in 7th. Very surprised, Howe said in Melbourne after winning a post-season friendly against Pochettino's former club Tottenham on Wednesday evening. Now, Springbok front row Vincent Koch believes it will be a surreal moment when South Africa's Shark face Gloucester in Friday's European Challenge Cup in the final in London. Both the Sharks and the first South African side to reach the European Club Rugby Union final and English Premiership strugglers Gloucester will be looking to put poor domestic seasons behind them at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. If you're just joining us, this is NMH at 1 and we'll get into the highlights from today's broadcast shortly.
Are you tired of just hanging around at home while waiting for something to do? Check out eticket.diary.my.na for what's hot on the social scene across the country. Or if you're arranging an event you'd like us to feature, contact Jareen at we.com.na. We can sell your tickets too.
In our highlights, at least 7 university students have died after apparently inhaling fumes from a generator in a music studio in Nigeria's oil-rich Bayelsa state. A British lawmaker received a standing ovation in Parliament yesterday as he made his first appearance since having his hands and feet amputated due to sepsis. And Namibian secondary schools rugby Standard Bank Under-19 Premier League continues with only one scheduled match on the weekend. NMH at 1 streams live every weekday at 1 p.m. sharing the latest news in Namibia and beyond from the NMH at 1 team and me, Ashwyn Mberi. Enjoy the rest of your day.